What's going on, guys? Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCGO, and today I am bringing you a deck that was given to me by Nuclear Bart, so huge shoutouts to him. This deck list is awesome, and I've been having a ton of fun using it, and that is a deck centered around the combination of Zoroark-GX and Decidueye-GX. And before I get into the deck, just a reminder that if you guys like this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, click that subscribe button as it helps us out a ton. And let's do more cool stuff for you guys. And if you are new to the channel, first of all, welcome. And second of all, here at TTM, we are a collaborative channel. So there's more than just the TCG content, which is why you clicked on this video. We also have content in the draft format, as well as a couple other little series in addition to that. So yeah, if any of that interests you, please feel free to subscribe and also check out our Discord that will be linked in the description, where we do have channels for all different facets of Pokemon, except for VGC. But anyway, onto the deck. Like I said, it is centered around Zoroark and Decidueye, and my question of the day. So Decidueye was something that had an undeniable spot for a long time because of Forest Giant Plants just being absurdly broken. Being able to get a Decidueye up turn one, multiple Decidueye up at that, being able to Feather Arrow, and then also lock your opponent in combination with Vileplume is just basically a broken combination. So broken that Forest Giant Plants is actually banned, not necessarily the Decidueye plus Forest, but I think it was Vileplume Forest was the reason that it ended up getting banned. So very, very ridiculously strong combination. And since the ban of Forest Giant Plants, well, obviously not banned in the Standard, but either way, in Standard, Forest Giant Plants is gone, so Decidueye has kind of fallen off. However, this deck I've been having a ton of fun using it, and I think it's actually really good. So my question of the day is, where do you guys think that Decidueye falls in the current Standard format? Now, I'll be the first one to admit, I don't play the TCG competitively. Like, I mean, I play it, I obviously try to win whenever I use different decks, but I don't go to tournaments. I don't, like, play at Worlds. I don't do all that stuff. I try to bring more fun decks more often than not, with a couple meta ones here and there. So I don't know the competitive scene as well as some other people, but in my opinion, I don't think Decidueye necessarily has as much of a place as it, obviously much less than it did before because of Forest Giant Plants being banned, but I think that it kind of has a spot as kind of a niche, but it has to be paired with something that can really kind of carry the load. I mean, in particular, Zoroark is a perfect partner for that. Just being able to have Decidueye spread damage around, Zoroark take the attacks and support with the ability to draw extra cards. So I do think that Decidueye can have a spot in the current Standard meta, and I do think that it can be successful in high levels of play, but I don't necessarily think it will be even remotely meta-defining. But again, that's me. I don't have as much experience in the competitive format as other people, so let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Does Decidueye have a spot in the current meta, and why? But anyway, onto the deck. Like I said, centered around the combination of Zoroark and Decidueye, and really the whole idea around this deck is to have Zoroark be up there, be attacking 120 damage per turn, trading to get you all the resources you need, and then have Decidueye either set things up for KOs, pick things off for KOs, knock out little basics that your opponent might try to set up in order to get like a stage 2 GX or something to that effect. Just really get the extra damage that Zoroark doesn't have on its attacks. I mean, Zoroark can hit for 120, 150, which are respectable numbers, but don't get the one-hit knockouts that you might need in some situations, like trying to take out a Necrozma in one hit, or an Ultra Necrozma, or something to that effect. Just Decidueye allows you to take one-hit knockouts or clean up prizes with Zoroark, so it's a very, very cool combination that I've been having a ton of fun using, and it's just really straightforward in that regard. You attack with Zoroark, have Decidueyes on the bench. You can attack for Razor Leaf if you decide you need to, but ultimately you really just attack more often with Zoroark, and that's the whole strategy of the deck. So as for the numbers of mons we are running, because this deck runs such a low amount of energy, we only run 6 energy, as you can see, and most of those are DC, 4 of them are DCE. We don't have ways to recur that right now. So Oranguru is our way of recurring energy, as enhanced hammers are pretty much everywhere, unfortunately. So yeah, being able to recur the DCEs is very, very big. And so that's what Oranguru does for us. We don't need the other Oranguru because we already have Pokemon draw support in the form of our Zoroark. Speaking of which, we have 4/4 of Zorua and Zoroark, just because those things are what this deck really just the deck's engine, being able to draw a couple extra cards per turn, being able to attack, just have multiple Zoroarks down. The more Zoroarks you have in play, the more of cards you can draw into, so there is no downside to playing multiple of them. Same thing with Decidueye. The more Decidueye you have in play, the more extra damage you're able to spread. So it's just a matter of, okay, how many Zoroark do I want per game? How many Decidueye I want per game? I've been finding that I usually have my ideal setup in a realistic situation. I mean, my ideal setup in like the absolute most ideal of situations would be 3-3 of Zoroark and Decidueye, but I'm finding that I really like 3 Zoroark and 2 Decidueye as well as a Lele, because let's be real, you probably played Lele on that turn 1 in order to get the setup that you have. So yeah, I find that I like 3 Zoroark and 2 Decidueye, but just because 2 Decidueye can get you the damage that you need in order to clean up KOs, while also still having 3 Zoroark for trade just to get as many cards in your hand and not have to necessarily use your supporter for a draw that turn. You can use like Acerola or Guzma or something to that effect just to be able to do that. So, but still, have 4-4 Zoroark, just because the more you can play down, the better your situation is. And same thing with Decidueye, 4-2-4 of Rowlet through Decidueye, because again, the more Decidueye you have on the field, the more extra damage you're able to get. We are also running a single copy of Breakthrough Latios, because again, this deck has the ability to snipe things down, get more damage on the board. It's runs DCE already. All situations that Latios loves. And then also against Buzzwole, this deck could struggle early on, so Latios is nice for being able to come in, throw a Choice Band on it, and then for a DCE, it's hitting Buzzwole for 120 damage and 30 damage to a bench Pokemon. So just really fits in perfectly with this deck and is a nice basic attacker. Then we have 3 copies of Tapu Lele-GX, just because Lele into Fan Club is kind of the ideal start for this deck. So just being able to do that early on is very, very solid. But as for the items that we were running a single copy of Escape Rope. Well, we're running 2 ways of switching, because we're running an Escape Rope and a switch, because you really don't like starting with Rowlet and you don't want to have to attach and manually retreat just because this deck runs so little energy to begin with. So by running 1-1, we can either disrupt our opponent with Escape Rope while switching out, or just straight up switch with the switch. And then also these can be used later in the game if the opponent tries to bring up a Decidueye to stall, as you don't have necessarily the energy to attack with it. I mean, again, if your opponent's stalling, well, that's more damage you're getting on the board with Decidueye's ability, but Switch and Escape Rope are ways to get out of that, as we're only running 2 Guzma in this deck as opposed to the normal 3 or 4, so having other switch options is essential. As for the methods of searching our Pokemon out, we have 3 Nest Ball, 2 Timer Ball, and 4 Ultra Ball. Now, we're not running Apricorn Maker in the... Oops, sorry, accidentally bumped the volume setting on my headphones. Go away, there you go. But the reason we're not running Apricorn Maker is because, I don't know, I just kind of fell back into my comfort zone of having extra cards that we can trade with Zoroark. Like, I don't like discarding resources that we can use. I like having dead resources that I'm able to trade away with Zoroark and not hurt the deck. Now, that can come back to bite you late game if you draw dead, but I don't know, that's just personal preference. If you want Apricorn Maker, then I can definitely understand that. Run 2 of those over the 2 Pokemon Fan Club. But personally, I prefer Fan Club just because, I mean, even though Apricorn Maker can be good later in the game as well, that's something to mention. It is just personal preference at this point. I prefer Pokemon Fan Club over Apricorn Maker. But yeah, 3 Nest Ball to get our setup, 2 Timer Ball because we're running a ton of evolutions, and 4 Ultra Ball to guaranteed get the mons we want when we want them. 3 Rare Candy to go straight from Rowlet into Decidueye. 1 Rescue Stretcher as our method of Pokemon recursion, just to be able to put those back into the deck or get one in particular that we want into our hand. And then as for the supporters, running the standard for Cynthia. I mean, that's just how it goes. And then only 2 Guzma in this deck, because really what you like to do with Guzma when you have Zoroark is bring something back in that you already hit and finish it off. However, in this deck, Decidueye allows you to snipe stuff on the bench to where you don't necessarily need to Guzma that thing back up in order to knock it out. So we are able to run a couple less Guzmas in that situation. So yeah, two, I was skeptical at first, but I found that I really, really like that. One, Acerola to pick up our Zoroark or our Decidueye that could be heavily damaged. Could run more, but meh, kind of something that I just went with, and I was like, yeah, you know what, one seems to be enough. Same with Judge, just disrupt your opponent late game while you do have Zoroark in order to mitigate the damage that Judge can potentially do to you. And while we are running 4 different copies of turn 1 supporters as it works, I mean, we're running 2 copies of Pokemon Fan Club and 2 copies of Lillie, I actually really like this line just because it gives you versatility and guarantee, almost all but guaranteed versatility to what you want to do. If you want to draw just a bunch of extra cards in your first turn, you will have Lillie available to you. If you want the guaranteed 2 mons on your bench, you will all but guaranteed have Pokemon Fan Club available to you. And then you can still Lillie and Fan Club later in the game, or you can just trade those things away with Zoroark. Again, more resources to discard with Zoroark that I really like. But I saw that Nuclear Bart did this and I was like, what? But when I tried it, I found that, wow, I actually really, really like the fact that there are 4 potential turn 1 supporters, so you always have something turn 1 that will help you. And then a single copy of Mallow, just because Mallow plus Zoroark equals amazing. 2 Choice Band to boost the damage output we don't necessarily need 4 because we do have Decidueye. And then 4-2 of DCE and 2... or 4 DCE and 2 of the Grass Energy, because, I mean, occasionally we can attack with the Decidueye. But anyway, that is a deck. Let's just go ahead and see this deck in action. Alrighty, we have found one against Shadow Lab 2000 with, I'll be honest, if this isn't a Rayquaza deck, I will be very, very shocked. But fortunately, we do win the coin flip, so we will be able to go first as, yeah, that's just kind of ideal. And wow, I start off with a really, really great hand. I get a Zorua, I'll be able to double Nest Ball and also Pokemon Fan Club. And honestly, like, situations like this are where I prefer, or why I prefer, not where I prefer. Obviously, I prefer Fan Club in this situation. But it's situations like this is like to illustrate like why I prefer Fan Club in this type of deck. Because, I mean, I'm able to use my Nest Balls, but also use Fan Club in order to get even more benched Pokemon, or even more basic Pokemon. So, I mean, yeah, this is... I mean, to each their own, and I completely understand, like I've said over and over and over, why some people like Apricorn Maker, but... I mean, I lean Fan Club. Like, I will try Apricorn Maker, I am open-minded, but just personal preference, this is why I prefer... This is why I prefer, whatchamacallit. This is why I prefer Fan Club over Apricorn Maker. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and Lele for... Do I want to grab Cynthia? Actually, you know what? Do I want to grab Judge? Let's just go ahead and grab Cynthia. I mean, why the heck not? So the reason that I've started doing this, I was thinking about grabbing the Judge because if my opponent happens to go for Tempest GX, then I wanted to be able to disrupt that. But the reason that I've started going for Lele's on the immediate turn is to maximize the odds that I draw into, or that I top deck into something that I can use immediately. So in this format, without N being so rampant and with Judge being... Yeah, I think Judge is really the only opponent hand disruption that there is, and that is much less played than N. And in some cases, some decks don't even... Well, I've seen some decks that don't run it. I mean, like, competitively, you would still run it. But, like, basically, opposing hand disruption is not as rampant as it used to be. And the reason I wouldn't play Ns in old formats, or in the previous format, is because, I mean, N was a 4 of in almost, or 3 or 4 of in almost every single deck. And it was very likely that your opponent disrupts your hand, meaning that you played Lele for nothing. Now in this format, I've started to play Lele more because, like I said, opposing hand disruption is not as rampant as it used to be, and so by playing Lele down and grabbing the supporter now, I maximize my odds of drawing into something that I can play immediately, and this is actually a perfect example of that, because I draw immediately into a Rowlet that I can play down. So what I'm going to do is evolve into a Dartrix, play the Rowlet down, and then Cynthia. So I mean, it worked out wonderfully for me. Yeah, I do understand why you wouldn't necessarily play Lele, but ooh, okay, come on, Timer Ball, give me 2 heads. Well, only get 1, but I mean, hey, 1's good enough. I can work with 1. So let's grab Zoroark, and then I can how do I want to play this? So it's Ultra Ball, get rid of the Latios and the Rowlet to grab another Zoroark, because what I can do is, okay, let's trade. Let's get rid of the Pal Pad, because I mean I only have like Cynthia in the discard right now. And ooh, so what I'm actually gonna do? Do I want to trade again? Yeah, screw it, I do. Let's get rid of the Choice Band, even though I might want it. I gotta do this, and I'm actually rewarded for that by getting another Dartrix. So this is beautiful for me. I will be able to Riotous Beating the Rayquaza, and then if I can somehow get 2 Decidueye, I will be able to double attack or double Feather Arrow into the Rayquaza, knocking that thing out, taking a prize and still being able to, or taking 2 prizes and still being able to attack with Zoroark. So this is working out really wonderfully right now, and if I can even top deck into a Decidueye, I'll be able to Rare Candy my Rowlet on the bench into Decidueye, and yeah, this will be great. And okay, my opponent does get a turn 2 Vikavolt, which, I mean, yeah, that's really good. That's what you want with that deck. And is he going to be able to... Yeah, he's not even going to be able to do significant damage to me. Yeah, he won't even be able to do significant damage to me at this point. So I'm really, like, not worried at all, because, I mean, he's able to Strong Charge, and he's going to be able to hit me for 90 damage, but, I mean, it's only 90 damage. Like, that's nothing compared to what I'm going to be able to do next turn. So, I mean, my setup is absolutely amazing. Like, my opponent is getting a whole lot of nothing. Yeah, he can Guzma. It's going to... Wait. Why did he do that? I will just be able to, and actually, because I top decked the DCE, I would just be able to switch back out into the Zoroark, and hey, we complete the daily challenge. Not bad. I mean, I completed that daily challenge. I've been sitting on that thing for a couple weeks now. Just have not completed it. It's been like, I'll play a deck with Zoroark at some point in the future, and just, you know, it kind of sort of never ended up happening. But either way, we do take that W right there. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get any Decidueye up just yet, which is kind of unfortunate, but I mean, hey, that's what happens. So yeah, I mean, that's game 1, I suppose, and let's go ahead and try to find another one, hopefully one where I'm able to get some Decidueye up and going and attack more than once with this deck. Alrighty, we have found another one against Bamboo Inc. I don't even know. Bamboo Inc. I mean, Bamboo Incorporated. Is that like a... That is a corporation run by pandas. Bamboo Incorporated. Or Bamboo Inc. Sorry, that was a bad joke even by my standards. Wow, like, I'm sorry if I muffled just right then. That was such a bad joke that I face-palmed. And, oh man, wow, holy... The game loves me right now. Like, no two ways about it. The game's just like, hey, Sticks, we got you. We got you. We know what you're looking for, and we're going to give you exactly that. I mean, that's... Wow, like, that's not normal. Like, you don't start with 2 Nest Ball plus Fan Club. Like, that's even better than a Bridget start. And Bridget's not even in this format. Man, I mean, the game, there's some days where the game hates me, and then there are some days like today where the game's just like, you know what? I got you, fam. Like, we're chill. And especially because we are up against, okay, so there's only 2 Zoroark and 3 Decidueye. Good to know. So that means I'm probably, well, I mean, I have another Decidueye in my hand. So all 4 Decidueye are in the deck. So I'm actually just going to grab double Zorua and then probably Rowlet Lele for the next turn, as... Yeah, I mean, that's, quite frankly, that's as good of a start as I could hope for. Jeez, this is gorgeous. I can even, let's see, do I want to, okay, let's play the Choice Band down. And then, I know I literally said last game that I like playing Lele down immediately, but, do I want to? Yeah, let's do it. You know what? I was going to say I didn't feel it, but then I was like, you know what? If I'm going to give a whole long-winded explanation for why I play down Lele the turn before I get my supporter, then I have to go through it. I can't just kind of side saddle it or straddle the fence or just be like, well, sometimes I like to do it, sometimes I don't. If I'm going to say something, I need to stick with it. So I'm playing down that Lele. I'm getting the Cynthia. We are clearly up against a Malamar Ultra Necrozma deck, which, depending on how many Dawn Wings my opponent plays down and how efficiently we're able to knock those things out, the matchup is definitely in our favor. Like, if we're able to just one-shot those and then keep targeting down the Malamars with our Decidueyes to where we're able to take, like, 3 prizes in a turn at one point, then that will be absolutely incredible for us. Or even just set up knockouts on repeated Ultra Necrozmas. Like, if we can keep doing that, then yeah, we're going to be in an amazing spot. So my opponent gets 2 Malamar down. That's fine. Really would have liked an Ultra Ball, but wow, the game's just extra. Like, you know what? Like, the game's just is just going above and beyond to make me feel good about this. So let's go ahead and double Zoroark, Ultra Ball, get rid of a Pal Pad, and a single Decidueye for a Dartrix. I'm gonna play a little bit. Actually, you know what? No. I was gonna say I'm gonna play a little bit ballsy, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna evolve the Rowlet on the bench just because, I mean, hey, if I can draw into a Rare Candy Decidueye, then that's ideal. Which, well, I draw into a Rare Candy and an Ultra Ball, so this is going to turn into a Rare Candy Decidueye. Let's Ultra Ball, get rid of the Lele and the Acerola for a Decidueye, and then I could trade this turn. I definitely could trade this turn, but the question is, do I want to? I think my play... Yeah, let's trade. Let's get rid of the Cynthia, see if I can get like another Rowlet or something like that. Well, I get a Decidueye for next turn, so let's trade, get rid of the Rare Candy, as I don't need it for next turn. I can just evolve. And I do get a DCE. So this works out, and I also have trade fodder next turn in my Pokemon Fan Club. So I'm going to Feather Arrow, start targeting down his Ultra Necrozma, and then I'm going to go ahead and use my Hollow Hunt just so I can get better setup. So let's grab a Nest Ball, a Cynthia, and how do I want to do this? Let's grab a Nest Ball, a Cynthia, and then I think a... Because, I mean, a Nest Ball, grab me a Rowlet. Cynthia gets me a supporter. And then do I want to... Yeah, you know what? I'll just go ahead and grab another Decidueye, because if I can... I mean, might as well have it in the deck so that I can play around with the... So I can have more options to draw into it and then get 3 Decidueye set up. Because if I can get 3 Decidueye set up, that is going to be absolutely incredible for me. Then it also gives me more trade fodder for Zoroark. My opponent is going to Field Blower, get rid of the single choice band. I mean, I'd rather him just get rid of 1 choice band than 2 when I have those out there. So he's going to Tate and Liza, probably Tate and Liza. Sorry, I keep saying Tate and Liza just because, I mean, that's how I said it. That's how I've literally said it since Ruby and Sapphire came out. I've said it Tate and Liza, not Tate and Liza. I'm so sorry about that. But is going to Ultra Ball, probably get a Malamar, and yeah, I don't think there's a way my opponent can knock out my Decidueye this coming turn. So I think I will be able to get at least another Decidueye going. I can DCE up this active one to Razor Leaf. Or I can... No, that wouldn't work. I was thinking Guzma, but I mean, I want to knock out this active... Oh, a Guzma can work this coming turn, but I mean, I don't have it, so that's unfortunate. It's just going to go straight into his Necrozma and Photon Geyser. I mean, it's going to hurt quite a bit, but at the same time, like, I will be able to... Actually, if I can get what do I need to knock this thing out? If I can get a Choice Band, maybe 120... If I can get a Choice Band, that might be enough to knock it out. So let's go ahead and trade, get rid of the Latios. Latios I really don't think is going to be doing much for me this game. That's not a Choice Band. Let's trade, get rid of the... Let's get rid of the regular grass. I'm really not feeling attacking with another Decidueye this game. And, oh man, I don't get it. So that is unfortunate right there. But what I can do... Feather Arrow... Honestly, just put this Ultra Necrozma in range of multiple Feather Arrows, because if I can just knock that thing out with a Feather Arrow in a coming turn, then I will still be able to attack, and hopefully, yeah, I mean, I can just double Feather Arrow it next turn, then hopefully if he promotes the Dawn Wings, then I will be able to knock that out with a Zoroark. So, kind of glad that I put the other Decidueye back in the deck, because my opponent is going to be able to knock out this active one very early actually, so this is much less than ideal, but at the same time, like, it's not the end of the world. I'm still in a position where I feel like I'm in the lead, even though he will be able to knock me out. He will be able to get a couple Malamars set up, and he will be able to take the lead, which I probably just said. I don't know. I just suffered from, like, short-term memory loss. P. Sherman 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney. But yeah, this is fine. He actually manually attached. Why did he manually attach to the Registeel? Like, yeah, that's gonna be clutch, in terms of damage, but maybe he's... Wait, no. What is my opponent doing? My opponent is wasting both of... Because what he should have done was invaded. What's my opponent doing? I don't know. What my opponent should have done right then was invaded, and then invaded, attached a single energy onto his Necrozma, and then retreated back into the Ultra Necrozma, and then knocked out my Decidueye. That does not make any sense to me at all. Like, that play makes zero sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to 100% take advantage of this. Let's Escape Rope. Do I want to Guzma or do I want to Escape Rope? How do I want to play this? So... First things first, let's actually Mallow. It's Mallow for a Decidueye and a Rare Candy, so at least I have that set up guaranteed. Do that. Let's trade. Get rid of the Timer Ball because, I mean, I will get the evolutions that I need and have another Decidueye set up. So, okay, booyah. There we go. Let's... Oh, I thought I played it onto the Rowlet. But apparently I had to click it because I didn't actually play it onto it. And then let's Escape Rope out. How does my opponent want to play this? So let's Feather Arrow... Knock out this Ultra Necrozma for sure, see what I can get off of my prizes. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Take my prizes, and then see if this opens up any other plays that I would want to do. So get rid of the Beast Energy. And now let's Escape Rope, see what my opponent brings up. Probably going to bring up the... Well, I mean, he could just bring up the other Malamar, but really, I just want to get his... Brings up the Registeel. That's interesting, because I will be able to knock it out. And then let's just Feather Arrow, I guess start racking up damage on a Malamar so that multiple Feather Arrows can eventually just lead to a one-hit KO. Do I want to trade? Yeah, you know what? Screw it. Let's trade. Let's see if we can get some more good resources into our hand. So we're in a Rescue Stretcher. Those definitely count. And then let's just ride a Speeding and... Wait. Did I miss something? I forgot about Exoskeleton. Well, now Zoroark's going to take a big hit because of it, but honestly, at this point, I think we're in such a good position that it really doesn't matter, because all I have to do is just Feather Arrow the Registeel, and I will be able to knock it out. And then I'll still be able to bring up something else as well. So, yeah, a little bit of a misplay on... By a little bit, I mean quite a bit of a misplay on my part in terms of not counting the damage out correctly, but I still should be... Draw 3 cards and discard a card from your hand. Okay. But yeah, I mean, even though he's going to be able to hit me for quite a bit, but I still think I'm just so far ahead in this matchup that it doesn't really matter. Because I can bring up the Ultra Necrozma, but I can just, like, target that thing down like crazy. Like, I can just Feather Arrow the active Registeel, knock it out, take a prize. Whatever my opponent goes into, if I don't like it, I can Guzma up something else. I might even just Guzma up his Dawn Wing so that I can take 2 prizes, but it doesn't matter because my opponent does just concede. But probably what my game plan was for finishing out that game: Feather Arrow the Registeel, Guzma up his Decidueye, or Guzma up, not his Decidueye, I have Decidueye. Guzma up his Dawn Wings, knock that out in a single hit with Zoroark, so that way I'm down to 1 prize, and then double Feather Arrow the Malamar that already has damage on it, because at that point all I need is 1 more prize. He can attack with Ultra Necrozma all he wants, but all I have to do is just continually Feather Arrow snipe down that Malamar, and I will be able to win the game. And I mean, they don't run Max Potion, or they don't run that many Max Potions, and even if they do, like, I still have the ability to just Choice Band, Riotous Beating, into Feather Arrows on an Ultra Necrozma to win the game. So, yeah, that was a good match against a very good deck, and I think I am going to, yeah, I think I'm going to call it right there. So, big shout-outs to Nuclear Bart for the deck list. Once again, you are an awesome deck builder, and hope you guys enjoyed watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff, and this is Styx signing out. Why not? See you guys.